Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 4. So today we are going to present our material. The title is A Syntactic Analysis of Inversion Sentences Structure in Sasak Language. So first thing first, I would like to introduce my group member. First, it is me as the second speaker and also the moderator. My name is Ikhtiar Bella Pratama. And then
My name is Daning Kusuma, and I as a fourth speaker.
I am Fani Putra Karabani as the third speakers.
And me, Bambang Tridiputra, as a fifth speaker.
And me, Pawai Dahlan as the first speaker.
okay. So first material will be explained by Apawedul Ahlani. So the time is yours.
Okay. This study is related to syntax, which is basically the studies of how sentences are formed and how words are arranged to create meaning. In most language, there is a common or normal word order. For example, in English, we usually use the subject, verb, object, pattern. However, sometimes this order is changed for certain purpose, such as asking question, giving emphasis, or expressing specific meaning. This change of word order is called inversion. In English, we are already familiar with inversion in question like "Are you ready?" or in conditional sentence. What makes this topic interesting is that inversion does not only occur in English; it also appears in local language, including Sasak, which is spoken by people in Lombok. Sasak has its own grammatical rules, and its sentence structure are quite different from English. This makes Sasak an interesting language to analyze, especially from a specific point of view. So, the main purpose of this research is to analyze how in-person sentence structure are used in the Sasak language and how they function in everyday communication. By studying this phenomenon, we can better understand how Sasak organize information in a sentence and how meaning is implied through word order. Maybe that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the explanations. So next we move to the next material, which is data collections. So here we use interview for data collections. The interview was conducted to explore, sorry, the PPT. Okay. The interview was conducted to explore awareness of inversion in Sasak based on their everyday language experience. So the interview data were collected through the following steps, which are preparing an interview guideline focusing on the inversion structures in the Sasak language. Second, conducting face-to-face interviews in an informal and dialogic settings. The third, using Sasak and Indonesians during the interviews to ensure clarity of meaning. The fourth, audio recording the interview and taking field notes. And the fifth, transcribing the interview data into written form. So that's it for me. Next, we move to the next material. Will be explained by who?
Okay. The next is
The next
result.
is res-
This section presents the findings
present
on
the findings on
English
English
inversion
inversion based on data collected
from
from
textbooks and participants' responses. The
the
analysis focus on
analysis
the types
focused
of
on the
inversion,
types of
the
inversion,
syntactic triggers,
the
and the
syntactic
functions
triggers,
of
and the
inversion
functions
in
of
each example.
inversion in each example.
So the first is
So the first
inversion
is
in English.
inversion in English.
Next slide.
Next slide.
The first impression is interrogative inversion. The sentence is, "Are you studying linguistics?" And the normal sentence is, "You are studying linguistics." Inversion happens in this sentence because this sentence is a question. In English, to make yes or no question, the auxiliary verb must come before the subject you. This change helps the listener know that sentence is a question, not a statement. The meaning stays the same, but the function of the sentence is changed. And example 2 is negative inversion. The sentence is, "Never has she experienced such a problem." The normal sentence, "She has never experienced such a problem." Inversion happens because the sentence starts with the negative words, never. When a negative word is placed at the beginning of sentence, English grammar requires the auxiliary verb has to become before the subject she. The purpose of this inversion is to give strong emphasis to the negative meaning. And example 3 is conditional inversion. The sentence is, "Had he known the truth, he would have acted differently." The normal sentence, "If he had known the truth, he would have acted differently." The inversion happens because the word if is removed to show that the sentence is still a conditional sentence. The auxiliary verb had is moved to the front of the sentence. This verb is usually used in formal or written English, such as textbook or academic text. So that's all from me. Back to moderator.
Okay, thank you for the explanations. And we move to the next material and will be explained by Dani Kusuma. Time is yours.
So the next material is inversion in Sasak. In syntax, inversion happens when the normal word order of sentence is changed. Usually, a sentence follows the order subject followed by verb. However, in inversion, the verbs come before the subject. In Sasak, inversion is commonly found in daily conversation. It is used to emphasize the action, to make speech sound natural, or to express certain sentence functions such as a question. By understanding inversion in Sasak, we can better see how sentence structure works and how meaning and focus are expressed through the word order. So there is a example of inversion in Sasak. So the first sentence is ia lalu aning pekan. It's a normal sentence, but after they implement to in person, they change into lalu ia aning pekan. In this sentence, the subject ia comes before the verb lalu. This follow the common subject verb order. In the inverted sentence, the verb lalu is moved to the front before the subject ia. This change creates a verb subject order. The meaning of the sentence remains the same, but the focus is placed on the action of going. So the second sentence is ia mangan nasi. Nasi. So after they implement to in person, they become changed into mangan ia nasi. In this example, the sentence normally start with the subject ia, followed by the verb mangan. In person, the verb mangan is placed at the beginning of the sentence. The subject ia follows the verb. This structure emphasizes the action of eating and is commonly used in a spoken Sasak. So the last example is ina nginem ai. So this is a normal sentence. After they implement to in person, the change become nginem ina ai. In this sentence, use the subject verb order, where ina is the subject and nginem is the verb. In the inverted form, the verb nginem comes first. The subject comes after the verb. This inversion does not change the meaning, but it highlights the accent and sounds natural in daily conversation. I think that's all for me, and the next material will be continued by my partner, Bang Ferry Putra.
So let's go, Bambang, for the next material. Time is yours.
Next slide, please. Okay, so we move to the discussions. In these sessions, we discuss the impression structure found in English and Sasak and how they function syntactically. Based on our analysis, impression in English is a highly rule-governed structure. It usually occurs in specific contexts such as interrogative sentence, negative expressions, and conditional clause. In English, imperson typically involves auxiliary verbs moving before the subject, for example, in questions or sentence beginning with negative adverb. On the other hand, imperson in Sasak, especially in the Selong dialect, shows a different pattern. Sasak impersions commonly use a verb-subject order without auxiliary movement. These impressions often appear in everyday speech and is influenced by pragmatic factors such as emphasis or focus rather than strict grammatical rules. Another important finding in that impression in Sasak does not change the core meaning of the sentence. Instead, it affects how information is presented in discourse. This indicates that impression in Sasak functions more as a discourse-driven structure, while English impression is more syntactically uh, constrained. And then in general, this comparison shows that although English and Sasak both have impression, the mechanism and functions are different. This highlights the richness of Sasak syntax and the importance of studying local language to broaden our understanding of linguistic theory. Okay, maybe that's all from me.
In conclusion, syntax plays an important role in understanding sentence structure and word order in a language. One significant syntactic phenomenon is inversions, which involves a change from the normal words order of a sentence. While inversion is commonly found in English, particularly in questions, conditional sentences, and empathic expressions, it also presents in local language such as Sasak. The Sasak language demonstrates its own distinctive syntactic patterns that differ from English and reflecting the richness of its grammatical system. The analysis of inversions in Sasak shows how sentence structures are formed and used in everyday communications. Through these examinations, a deeper understanding of the complexity and uniqueness of local language syntax can be achieved. So that's all from our group. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.